just about good to go. Oh, that's amazing. I don't have video. 1 second. Cool. Alright, well, I think we are good. welcome, just in case. Just gonna kind of jump into this, really. If you're new, welcome. We're doing our Monday morning, or morning for me, afternoon for most. I think this is typically where we'll get some kind of like a change or a breather moment in the indices. Unfortunately, as I was looking at it, everything started to pop off. So hopefully we're not too busy with the trades. And I see some stuff happening. But kind of feels good this week. Maybe in for a little bit of a bounce. We shall see how long it holds, but we have a huge week ahead. So let's get into it. Before we start, I just need to point out that you should carefully consider trading. If trading is suitable for you, considering your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources, as you may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change anytime. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results, although we hope it is. So, just jump into the recap. We had a ton of stuff. Mostly Powell. That was probably the biggest thing last week. Powell's speeches and inflation, and it felt pretty bloody, man. I don't know if it was the flush that we were looking for necessarily, but it sure felt brutal. So hopefully you guys were able to catch some of that downside, movements. I'm looking at the stuff. Whew, I was short Walmart, and it's bouncing pretty hard this morning, which is odd because we had some pretty interesting retail earnings. So Target came out, I think, it was Walmart, huge flusher. Target and Costco, actually, they're all down pretty brutal. So retail, I don't know. It was mostly a lot of stuff on rising costs, fuel costs, and things like that. Handful of headlines this weekend over utility prices going. I mean, I looked at my PG&E bill. California, and God, I was like, is that for real? Some of this stuff, I don't know where it is, how it is in your guys' neck of the woods, man. But yeah, electricity, energy costs are definitely going up. So I don't know. Maybe we look into some utilities this week. We'll see. And rent. I mean, what's weird is like we're looking for peak inflation. Really, that's what the whole market's looking for. And I think they're kind of calling it. At least it looks like it's starting to be priced in, especially today. So I think everybody was looking for the kind of dead cat bounce last week. Is getting it this week. So hopefully you caught that. But again, it's interest rates are increasing, and hopefully we'll see some inflation stuff start decreasing this week if we're gonna actually continue with this rally, and we're gonna get some of those numbers this week. A couple other things like Kohl's. We had a handful of people in our group looking at Kohl's. Interesting. So they're looking to get bought out. So they're selling, and they had two major executives announced that they're leaving, and it was kind of like snuck under the carpet in some of their notes, but some of the media outlets caught that. And I think it was their chief marketing and chief merchandising officer are leaving, but they're looking for a buyer. So I don't know if it's going to be the best short or not. We'll see. And then over the weekend, there was a Broadcom headline in talks to acquire VMware, which actually, coming from tech, enterprise tech, that's pretty interesting. Broadcom is a switching networking company, network stuff, and VMware is like server stuff, and they're connected on the data. Probably going too far, but VMware software virtualizes all the servers. Broadcom and network at Broadcom network, they need that nice virtualization layer, and I don't never really sold a whole lot of Broadcom switching personally. I know they're pretty over expensive, but that would put them in competition with like a Cisco, more like a Cisco, whereas before they weren't really that competitive. Um, so, anyways, just doing a quick recap. Did you guys have any headlines, by the way, Jesse or Steven, that you guys caught that you want to bring up? Maybe might be something interesting to look at this week.
I was looking at obviously from last week the monkeypox
Oh yeah,
news, and to play that with the that
you
ticker
guys,
SIGA.
you guys know
Uh,
monkeypox. That was funny.
yeah,
SIG. He
monkeypox.
brought this up, and I was like, "What is that?" Monkeypox. But yeah, it's a
So
SIGA.
apparently there was news that came out this morning from the WHO and the CDC that they were saying that it doesn't mutate as fast or at all as they had first thought. So I think that kind of tempered the fears about it. So I think that's why it's kind of selling off this morning.
Uh,
Um,
well, you're
but it's
you're
something
you're
to keep in the
you're
back of
you're a
your head.
fan.
The
So,
news about that, then that's one that could definitely be
what
a
do
good
they
player.
do again? Just so they know. Here's new.
SIGA, SIGA Tech, is a pharmaceutical company that makes the antiviral medicine for smallpox. And the EU has been stockpiling SIGA's antivirals for the monkeypox outbreak. So if they continue to get super fearful of that, they're gonna that apparently that's one of the big players in that antiviral space for smallpox.
Well, dude, all I can say is thank you for making me aware that monkeypox is a thing. I did not know. I,
I had no idea either.
I did not know what he was talking about, and I looked at this chart and I was like, "Whoa, okay." Sorry. So, yeah, but anyways, yeah, that was a thing. In terms of economic data, we got a ton of stuff. I think it was mostly. We'll go back in the charts, but I believe, and why am I not seeing it here? I believe it was the. We go back to last week. What day did we have a Powell speech? You know we did.
Oh, from
Bullard.
last week, I can't
Yeah.
remember the
Okay.
date.
It was Tuesday. So we'll go back look at Tuesday, and again, every time this guy gets up, and it's not on here, and talks, he is moving the markets big time. So I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, he's talking tomorrow, and it's gonna move markets big time. Um, we're pretty beaten down. We're kind of rebounding here, but we actually do have a pretty big week ahead. It was interesting, the housing starts looking at last week, existing home sales slightly declining. I don't know if anybody's got any friends out there trying to buy houses right now, but I think this is thematic in terms of like, is it peak inflation, things like that, right? It's pretty hard to buy a house right now. I know we have some rental properties, and I had no idea how underpriced we were from a rent perspective. Um, but yeah, rent is absolutely going up. Utilities are absolutely going up. We know we have this natural gas situation, and we'll look at some of those numbers here in a second. But yeah, it looks like we might be in for that kind of like shortage of homes coming in soon, and higher interest rates. It's not the greatest time. It's not looking like the greatest time to be a home buyer, unfortunately. So hopefully, we'll see. We'll see how this plans out, but it's going to be an interesting one to watch for sure. All right, so I'll go ahead and move ahead. Da, da, da. Cool. So we don't actually have any major earnings coming up this week for the Dow 30. We did have, I think it was Home Depot, Walmart, and Cisco. Might have been Disney last week also. Was a miss. Walmart, we know, was a huge miss. Home Depot, oddly enough, was a meet, or a beat rather, but clearly expectations were pretty high, and yeah, it didn't get demolished like Walmart did, but it didn't. It was a very small beat. This is the market that we're in, right? Like, if you're not completely destroying the estimates and what the market is pricing in, not what you did last quarter, nobody cares about that, but what the market's estimating and pricing in, you're not going up, and you're likely going a little bit to the downside. Cisco, same thing. Cisco beat, but again, they did get demolished. They went from 10% plus demolished. You consider that. Who knows? We've seen a lot worse recently. I think Walmart had the worst day ever. They were like down 11, 12% or something like that day. But here's the week ahead. So we do have three big days of economic days. So today, nothing. So we're in the clear for now in terms of, are we going to get smacked by any headlines or economic news? We have Davos, so everybody's kind of talking probably pretty good right now. Also, I got one of my other screens off to the side. But Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, so just after lunch hour, mid-lunch hour, we do get Powell coming on to speak. And there's been a lot of headlines about interest rates. That's what it's going to be about. And I was looking at, Jesse's a Forex trader. I don't know if he's doing I don't know what his pairs are. Typically Forex traders they stick to certain core, major pairs.
But all the USD pairs.
Yeah. So
all USD, Euro USD, etc.
Yeah, I was like the Australian dollar had so RBA, I think it is. RBA. Yeah. That's they're going with the 25 basis point hike versus 50. ECB is like the Euro bank. ECB. Sorry. Yeah, looking for 50 to 25 basis points. And the U.S. is looking at a 50 basis points, and I think the market is really thinking 75 still, or more, because we're just trying to get to that neutral territory, right? So if inflation is here, rates are here, we need to get to neutral, which is right here. So how does that work? One has to go before the other, right? I think I think the market is thinking that inflation may be coming down on its own a little bit more than we thought, hopefully, but we still need to increase rates to kind of meet in the middle. And when they talk about this soft landing, and that was definitely a headline, so I think it was Powell said specifically, it could be painful, right? Powell commits to inflation fight, but says it could be painful. So when they talk about the soft landing, this is what we're talking about, the shift to neutral, right? How fast can we get there? Do we need to go this high and then, inflation, and then bring it back down in rates and overstep what we think we would be? That's why a lot of people would start to be thinking about what is that neutral goal. And he's yet to say it, really, because I don't believe him. Nobody knows. He's yet to say it. But so Tuesday he comes out, talks again. Wednesday we get the release of the FOMC minutes, and that one for sure always moves markets. And so we don't know. So what they're going to be looking at is like, well, what were they talking about? What were the Fed presidents talking about in the last meeting? Were they talking about seriously considering a 75 basis point hike or a 100 basis point hike, or were they really just thinking about a 25 basis point hike, and how many people were on the side of what, right? And what was the back and forth? That's what we're going to get on Wednesday, and that absolutely will seriously move markets, maybe more than his speech, but we'll see. And then Thursday, nothing major. GDP we know is going to be crap. Sorry, and home sales. But then Friday we get hit with the bigger number of core PC, and that is the actual inflation gauge. So the market is pricing in maybe peak inflation. Maybe. I think that what they're definitely pricing in is that there's not a whole lot more. Like how much worse could it get? Like that's really what I see, right? So we'll point out some levels. I think that maybe not necessarily bullish, but hopefully non-bearish. We'll see. But we have to go with what the charts tell us. So just jumping into this, today we have Bostic speaking sometime about now, not making any major moves. Tuesday we do get new home sales. This is our Fed Chair Powell's speech. So times on the left are Pacific Standard Time if you're not familiar or if you're new here. So adjust for your time zone. On the right, I have the previous number and the consensus number. So if we're looking at certain things, say like new home sales, right? Consensus number 75, that's what the market is currently pricing in. Previous doesn't really matter, but it is a gauge. What is the market is pricing in that we're gonna drop slightly. So if we come in something major different than what the consensus or the forecast number is, that's when we'll see markets move. If something hits consensus and or forecast or meets about the same, yeah, we're not, don't expect the market to move. And even, if it's a big difference from the prior month, don't expect the markets to move. It's all about what the market is currently pricing in, and that's shown here on this consensus column. Oh yeah, look at this. New home sales month over month. Was it really down 8.6%? Wow. Yeah, getting harder to buy a home, man. That's for sure. So, this was one. So, Wednesday, we get some oil stock changes. I'm going to have to pull it up on my other screen and see what crude is doing today. I don't think it was going up. I think it's more neutral, to be honest. But this is still that situation where, like, look, we went through this much oil, and we're tapping that strategic reserve. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I am bracing. Oh yeah, we're 110 on futures. Yeah, pulled back just a little bit, but that thing ain't going down right now. Maybe I still think, yeah, USO, maybe some kind of neutral trades. Not such a bad idea. And then, so 11 a.m. Pacific, this is what, 2 p.m. Eastern, we get the actual release, at least as of right now. That's the time that I have, is that the release for the, sorry guys, trying to jump over screens, for the FOMC minutes. That may change. I don't think it will, but we'll see. Wednesday. All right. Cool. So Thursday, pretty light economic day. I got two things. If you guys want to jump in, we're going to do this Twitter Space things again with Wolf Financial at 10:30. It's like at Wolf Financial, dude. If he's sorry, my bad. I'm really not good at that. At Wolf_Financial. Yeah, he does this Twitter Space every day. He's like hardcore 40 hours a week on that. But yeah, we'll do some live trading there. And then if you're in our group or any of our partner groups, we're also starting the Trading Foundation this Thursday with something called the Strat. So I'm pretty excited about having that. We got a buddy of mine, OG Trades, from the Sepia group, which is really the home of the Strat. Let's see if I can pull that. Yeah. So, yeah. Oop. Zooming. Wow. All right. Yeah. So OG from the Sepia group, who coined the term the Strat, and he's going to come in and talk about the system, and that'll be the first foundation of what we'll plan on building for an actual completed system. So earnings, probably biggest earnings day of the week, Thursday, 102. So I think we have some more retail earnings coming up. I don't know if we have any major ones. I can look at, see if we have. Who do we have? You guys looking forward to any earnings this week? I'm looking.
Honestly, I haven't looked into it yet.
Yeah, it's been pretty low. We got, what do we have today? Zoom. Oh, okay, Best Buy. There's your retail today. Huh. I got a DM on one of those. Somebody's thinking downside, but I have no idea. I had no idea how bad these things have been beat up, but they're pretty beat up. Then Dick's, Nordstrom's Tuesday, Intuit Tuesday, Urban Outfitters Wednesday, Dollar Gen, Dollar Tree, Nvidia Wednesday, Snowflake, and Splunk on Wednesday. So, yeah, there's definitely some stuff coming up. Then Thursday we have Costco. So, hey man, I went to Costco last weekend and that was pretty busy. So, I don't know. Yeah, and then VMware Workday Zscaler. So yeah, we definitely have some stuff coming up. So Friday is, I think, so today nothing really on the radar. We're pretty clear skies, and then maybe the back half they start thinking, oh, Powell's going to talk tomorrow. Who knows? Then we'll get through the speech. Then we get the FOMC minutes. Thursday it's a break, and then Friday we get hit with the banger. And this is the biggest one. I mean, so core PCE, this guy right here, we came in right at expectations last month or last week, I believe. I'd have to go back and look at it. But typically, it's going to look like this. We're going to have a move, especially for FOMC minutes. A move, and then a counter move, and then a rally of either upside or downside. And then overnight, the next day or two, the market kind of digests what just happened, and then sometimes a lot of that gets pulled back. So expect the chop. It's here to stay. But, you know, in the interim, we do have a handful of pretty good trading opportunities. So I just want to start. So I'm going to start out here with SPY keys. So basic sector check across the board. I got on my charts, I have a 30-minute candle. I'm using, let's see, let me kind of just make it clean. Oops. 30-minute candlesticks chart. I have daily, weekly, and monthly levels kind of outlined by those bars right there, and that's pretty much it. So, man, I've been like just ever so slightly off on my targets. So I was looking, let's see, what day did we get? I think it was Tuesday, right? Last Tuesday, the 17th, we got a Powell speech. So I'm going to change this. JP talks. All right, so Tuesday, the 17th. Oh my, is when about 11 o'clock our time, right there. So this level right here, that's when he came up and started talking last week. So I think this is just going to be a little bit of point. It kind of pressed the markets a little bit higher. We were on this little consolidation level right here. But this is what I'm talking about, right? So it looks, everyone, they'll listen to the speech. They didn't hear anything crazy, really. And maybe, what do you call that? Like selective hearing, right? Like, I didn't hear anything bad. But then when they read the transcripts, read the Q&A afterwards, you get this kind of market digestion and reaction after the fact. So just be very careful. We're going to have something like this very similar this week. I don't know if it's going up, down, you know, we never know that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's very similar here, right? When we get the FOMC rate decision, again, speech sounds good, boom, boom, then transcripts come out, the Q&As come out, everybody gets a chance to read it, and then you get this secondary reaction. So, yeah, we do have that. So this Thursday, we have, what day is that going to be? It's going to be, it's going to be Thursday. No, I'm sorry. Wednesday the 25th, FOMC rate decision at, let's call it 11 my time, right? Oh, FOMC minutes, sorry. It's just a release of a transcript. And then, yeah, then Friday PCE. So I think this Wednesday and then Friday. So it's going to be a choppy week, man. That's all I can say. Do you want to point out any levels on this, Stephen, as we start going here?
On SPY?
Sure.
So I have a level right here, right where we're at right now, like 397 and some change.
Yeah, actually,
it's just a small pivot point from last week.
Yeah, it's the very top from Friday that got huge rejection. Interesting. Yeah, big old rejection.
Yeah, that Friday, and then even left of that, it was kind of the bottom of, like a rising wedge type situation where it bounced week prior.
All right, I'm just gonna. Yep. Okay. So this whole consolidation. Yeah. So this is gonna be like our. What do you call that? Depending on how you. So many people have been talking different terminology lately. I keep hearing supply and demand, supply and demand. I mean, yeah.
Regardless, yeah, and I think that's something important to note is regardless of what you call it, you're identifying those levels. I know that me and you like to call them pivot points just because I mean, it's really hard to say whether it is a supply zone or a demand zone, but we just know that price usually likes to move around here, so it's a point to keep in mind. So it looks like we're rejecting that right now. Obviously, 400 is a key psychological level. If we do get up there, 385, I think it's still a big level. And then below that, you get down to 380. Those are my targets for this week. Would be 385 and then 380 if we get below that. I think 390 could possibly be a key point to keep an eye on as well.
These are downside.
Do what?
These are downside.
Downside targets. I don't want to take any calls just yet unless we're over 400.
Yeah.
At that point, I'd be looking to target the 410 level again. That was
right up here, weekly pivot. We call it weekly pivot. So what we are doing, right, is I'm just going to take a monthly chart, right, and all these lines is like, here's last month's candle, the top and the bottom, right, of this big candle. Weekly chart, it's just this big candle, last week's top, last week's bottom. That's all we're talking about right now. We're completely inside, so expect sideways, right? That is absolutely what you should expect daily. We're kind of looking at the same thing. Interesting enough, you're talking about 385. I had this, right. I don't know. I mean, 386. Yeah, 386, 70 kind of level right here, and then the bottom where we were bouncing at 385.50. Yeah, so we're right on. We're in sync as always. And I'd taken this, so our orange boxes are an average week's range, and honestly, I just took this same exact level, 385, and if it was an average week's range, let's say maybe we pull it back down to here and bounce right back up to about 399, about 400, which is exactly what you were just saying. So yeah, I think we're in pretty good alignment here. Anything above that 400 though, like that was the key pivot. I was looking last week, we were looking at this 393-ish gap fill, right? For anything over here to take a shot to the downside. That ended up acting as support. So we didn't take it long, but just so you know, like we'll make your levels, right? And they're always important. And this level, 393.85, Friday ended up as acting like this whole gap situation, right? Anybody in here, that's when it just acted like that resistance zone. And I think people are probably using that term supply demand versus the old support resistance, just because it's not always a hard line, right? So it's not, none of this stuff is an exact science. It's very close, but just know sometimes, everybody's looking at technicals. So if you're also looking at technicals and everyone knows that, they might know exactly where your stop is, and it might be where people have some buying orders just below that, just like this kind of situation right here. So looked like we were going to flush hard after breaking that 385. This is that same thing. Did we? No, we got a big old bounce at 380. So right now, we're not quite above last week's high. If we did happen to go higher, just to put this out there, an average week's range from this morning's open would put us right about 40, just under 405. But we've been moving quite a bit. So average week, I think we are moving, but during the week, see, this is the average week. During the week, we might go outside to the upside and or the downside, but typically we'll end somewhere right in there. That's usually how that works. So if you're outside the average week's range, not really looking to press any directional bets per se, and probably closing some if you got the direction right. But yeah, I'm looking at the same thing, right around 385, 386. If we do start to bounce on SPY. Qs, I think very similar. If you took that same kind of time level, right, that would put you about 285 on the Qs. Super similar. And average week's range, if we did bounce somewhere around there, that would give us, well, right now, just to be clear, we do not have a breaking structure. So we're typically looking for higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? And right now, we did, in fact, put in a lower low on the indices, and we have not yet put a higher high in yet. So if I was looking to go along something like this, I want to see it break first, and then I want to see a lower low hit, and something like that is what I would be looking for, and probably targeting 305 to the upside. If we don't get that, this ends up being that lower high on the Qs this week. Yeah, like 270, 275. Wow, I have a 265 number here. Oh, that's this prior consolidation here. Hey Jesse, are you trading US 30 still right now?
Yep.
A lot? All right.
Well, not right now, but I am.
Okay, so US 30 is like DIA, diamonds for us. I'm gonna go ahead and move this to US 30. But it looked, of all the indices, probably the most had the most bounce this morning. Do you have any levels that you want to point out on this?
I mean, we're at a pretty key support, but honestly, when I'm scalping on the 1 minute or 5 minute, I'm not looking anything super far left because I'm not holding for that long. So I'm really just playing if it's going bearish or bullish, and then getting an entry. But you know, for both NASDAQ, I mean, for all of the indices, every round number is going to be a psych level. So right now at 31,900, and then 32,000. Those are going to be pretty key levels where they fight over. And then usually every 50 or 100 points after that is a fight zone. But right now we're either retracing. We had a pretty big bounce from the Sunday open, so we're really at the 618 right now. We either need to continue or we'll have a pretty nasty rejection down below the lows on Friday.
Just for clear, when he says 618, he's talking about fibs.
Fibonacci retracement.
And if you do use these tools, you're just taking this last market structure move, and there you are, 618 right there, which would be a short entry, is what he's saying. So other than that, I'm looking, man, we do have this pretty heavy. I mean, this was support back here at 32, 260. Not that long ago, March. Bounce here.
We've got like, if you're an institutional trader, we've got a lot of imbalances around the 32,000 to 33,000. That if we are going to go lower, banks are going to want to close out those long positions that were left behind. So right now, you just got to play what's in front of you and try not to expect a turn. But I would say short term, I'm bullish, but obviously I'm playing whatever the market gives me on the charts I play.
Yeah, if I do like upside would take us right to that average week range, would take us right to that 32 level right here. This is diamonds. On the downside, it would be right back to that. Wow. See, but I just want to put, so if this is an average week's range, if anything moves more than an average week's range in I call it 48-hour period, something like this. So this is one day here, another day. You expect a stall, at least. Like the market needs to catch its breath. So one good thing to use these average ranges is that, you know, stocks don't just constantly move. I know a lot of people do like wave theory, things like that. it's just like it's not. There's a consolidation period, and that typically happens after a big move, and typically like this. So you have a big move and a retrace, and then a consolidation period, right? So every single time we have one of these, expect that, right? So we just had one, we just had a big one, and so maybe we retrace here. This is that six, like roughly halfway, and then what do we have? We have catalysts, but they're not till mid to late week. So Monday, Tuesday, we may just chop in this little general area. So be very cautious if you're taking directional trades. Just make sure you got your sniper rifles out for sure, because take profits when you see them, and don't try to push bets too far. Very, very difficult in this market to get more than a 2-day 2-day trend. That's has not changed at all. Bond, same thing. So I was looking at this right here, this TLT 71 oops, sorry, IWM. This is not TLT, IWM. IWM actually had a similar bounce as TLT. Look at that. So, all right, 171 we're defending here. That's going to be a pretty critical level. So as long as we stay above that, this, again, kind of moving in this pretty consolidated range. I can't really take this one way or the other. If I have a chance to short somewhere around this 185, again, I might, or you can go long. It's just very range bound this week. I don't see any triggers here right now. Let me pull up. If you guys have any questions, just let us know. Hopefully, hopefully I didn't just sign out of YouTube. That would suck. Which I might have. Oh no. I'm still there. Cool. All right. We got just going to finish this up, and then I got a request on NVIDIA, so we'll go ahead and hit that. So TLT was the bond, so we had kind of targeting long entry right around 114. I think that was it. Probably neutral from here. This is the $1, the dollar index, DXY. That had been on this huge tear, right? And this is where, like, if I think from a global perspective, if our dollar's getting a little weaker, some other currencies might look to head into this. That could be bullish for equities here if the dollar does keep heading down. So this one, yeah, this was just on a tear for the longest time, back under 100 maybe. But again, I'm not this is more the Forex crew that'll have some pretty snipey levels, no doubt. Yeah, put up 101 on Dixie. Anyways, and then the VIX too. So the VIX, been watching, as if you're an option trader, anything under 30 right now is going to be pretty good for a sustained move. So I think your debit spreads are still where I want to be. Anything under 30 is typically going to be non-bearish. So I had teed up a short to press on target. I don't think I'm going to hit that just yet, but definitely monitoring the VIX here. And there's going to be a lot of chatter. If you haven't had it yet, we won't really get flushy until the VIX is like 45 historically, right? This little area, these are like your pandemic situations, up in this 40 range here, right? That's when things are, that's your flush. We haven't actually hit it quite yet. So we've gotten close, and I think a lot of people are still kind of waiting for that flush moment, and you'll know it. We were very close yesterday, Friday, but you'll know it when you see it. It's just hasn't happened quite yet. So be cautious. One other one I do want to look at gold. So gold, we were had this big old breakout, right? Had this broadening range, and we retraced pretty much that whole move, and now back crossing over the 200-day. When we see these kind of, what do you call this? I don't know, patterns, essentially we'll always see, okay, you get the breakout, right? Pull back, and you typically retest somewhere right around here, right? On the same downtrend. We did hit that, and it was right above the prior breakout here. And so I think, honestly, man, I think this one is, I'm looking gold alongside, finally, breaking over this 200-day today. It might be some leverage positions or trades, we'll see. But a little bit, yeah, looking for it to hold right here, actually, and jump in. Dollar's going somewhere. Got to figure out where it's going. Let's do, I'm going to jump in. So if I'm going to trade semis, right, I want to look at the sector. So the semi sector, SMH, I know this is the subsector view. I want to say, is the semi sector healthy, right? Is it in an uptrend? Am I going to be trading against the trend as a whole, right? This is that other sector view, subsector view, if you will. I'll just clean these to a different chart. So semis are right here, SMH. So right now, technically a higher low. Ooh, interesting. Technically a higher low. This was, let's do a daily, or let's go monthly. So monthly, monthly, we're tagging this kind of support 216-ish, 215-ish level. So that would set up for a pretty okay bounce. And so SMH the sector. All right, and we have this prior month low, 225. As long as that holds above that, you're probably okay. And this is why I have those lines like automatically popping up. So on the day you're up, on the week you're up, it's the first day of the week. So that could change very quickly. Just be very careful. If the SMH drops under 225, you're definitely fighting the trend on that one. But you do have some upside to go. So let's take a look at multiple time frames. Yeah, Q's kind of curling back here. I'll show you the ADRs in a second. NVIDIA. Cool. So this is the look, right? So NVIDIA monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, and then I'll take a smaller chart here with a wider view. Call that a 15. So monthly, this clearly not on an uptrend. I got a bunch of lines here. Not really sure what they're for. So let me start deleting them. The first major level to the upside, 182 right here. So this was that breakdown, and these lines are synced across all of my charts. I'm going to take some of this stuff off. Major support, 150. Wow. And major overhead resistance or supply, whatever you want to call it, 181. You have earnings. Is this right? So like in a couple of days? How do we check earnings? We go NVIDIA Investor Relations. That's the only way to check. And events and presentations. Do we have it? May 25th. Yeah. 2 p.m. Pacific. So May 25th after market close. That's what you have. If you're trading this, you have volatility, so option pricing coming into the 25th. So today is Monday the 23rd, 24th Tuesday, 25th Wednesday is going to be the highest pricing of those options. So as this event gets closer, the option chain will price in the average move for that stock, because every time it goes through an earnings period, it will gap. And so how do you know it's going to gap, right? So it's going to gap. And these are the last 6 quarters, just, 7%, 8%, 4%. Oh, God. 8%. It gaps quite a bit. So last quarter had a 9% move priced in. So what do you need to know? Right now, the option pricing for NVIDIA is very elevated. So you have to beat, NVIDIA has to move more than 9%. I'll tell you right now what is. So that May 27th expiration is the one that has it priced in. At the moment, it's pricing in a $17.50 move between now and Friday. So if you're going to win holding this through Thursday, it's got to move more than 15 bucks. Where does that put this? So if it's whatever, 228, it's got to be 245. It's got to be above 245 and or, because the option model really doesn't care which direction, and or below basically 210. So if you're buying options, it cannot be in this kind of zone. Does that make sense? Like in this zone, that's your red zone. So technicals are out the window, man, when it comes to earnings. I can just tell you that it's a fundamental event that's going to change all of your technicals in the next day or two. If it breaks this 216 level though, to the downside, oh goodness, are you seeing this? 216, yeah, your next level is not, and I'll just take this fixed range and just take a quick snip here. Yeah, your next level of support, or like where maybe you'll have some kind of saving grace, not till 175, 170, if it fails. So you're either gonna flush or you're gonna. Remember, this market isn't the one. Like if you can beat, but it doesn't matter, right? What matters is what the street expects, and how you're getting near that, right? Like how close are you to that? Otherwise, yeah, you have this major overhead supply, right at this level, 250, which is a far cry away, but not that far from what the options pricing model is pricing in. So if you were to take a bullish bet, bullish or bearish? What was the site you just looked at to check volatility? Oh, this is a free site. I just use it's marketchameleon.com. Market Chameleon. I don't pay for a subscription or anything like that. It's just an easy way to visually show you guys what this is, and it has a ton of really cool data, like really cool data. I have scripts and everything too, but what was I saying? Yeah, I think this is SMH, sorry. We need to be back on NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is pricing a $15 move in either direction. My bad. So 165, 175, 180 to what, 180, and then 160 to, what would that be? 145. So this is your no-fly zone on NVIDIA. Okay. Yeah, my apologies. That was totally the wrong chart. You do have some consolidation, this is your prior consolidation zone right here, right? And the breakout. So if I was going to take a shot, it would be right at here, but this isn't until 130 or lower. Yeah, 130. And then overhead resistance 210, 200. You're right in the middle, man. That's a toughie. I will play this. I'll say if this flushes, this back half of earnings season has been pretty volatile. I'll give you that much. So maybe some short dated straddles, like buying at the money. Straddle mean buying at the money call and at the money put, because this option chain is saying it's a $17.50 move. That's $1,750, by the way, if you're trying to make that bet. And if you do make that bet, it's just basically you don't care what direction NVIDIA moves, as long as it's more than $17.50, you're gonna make money. If it's a $25, $30 move, you're gonna make a lot of money. But if it's less than $17.50, you're gonna lose basically what you spent. But you guys you saw those last moves on NVIDIA, those are big. So I wouldn't be shocked to see this come out with a 8, 9, 10% move, quite frankly. That could be underpriced. Yeah. But yeah, unless it's above 185, I couldn't take this to the upside. And then if it does break these pivots here, 157 downside ish, yeah, 135 is well within range. Anything below that, you're toast.
anything below 135, you're back to 75 and 50. But just because it's come down quite a bit doesn't mean it's time for it to go back yet either. So just careful. Note of caution. I don't see any strength here. So coming into earnings, honestly, this price action to me, it looks like people are more scared about them potentially missing than they are excited about a potential upside beat. That's what this, I mean, lower high. So here's your high, a lower high Friday. Today there's no strength. Not until it's, above 183. So someone was asking about these ADRs. So I use this thing in TradingView. It's called ADR. Whoever Trey Peng is, oops, sorry, just the microphone. Thank you, dude, because I love your indicator, but it's free. It's just stock. You just go indicators, right, and search ADR, average daily range, and there it is. Ta-da! And I use a 14-day average. So length 14. That's it. Simple. Cool. And that's important because option pricing model is based on a single day's like a 1 standard deviation. So if it moves outside that range, you know that your options are going to be overpriced or expensive. I'm going to do a quick, we're a little bit, so Tesla, no earnings in the way. We were looking at this pretty short, had a morning that looked like it was good, but that's how the mornings have been going, right? They just fake you out. So I was taking a look. I know 700, right? Tesla has to reclaim 700 for it to be in, alive. And we hit, what is this? We hit this 680, 670 this morning. It looks like a pretty solid rejection coming in. Anything below 630, these were the downside targets. So you have really, even downside targets even on Tesla. I know we've been kind of looking at this.
I mean, the extreme low side target, and everybody laughs at this, I think 550.
Yeah, it was down here. Well, shoot, dude, I got 4. But
right. But I mean, right here where it rejected, 680, I have that as a key pivot for Tesla to reject, and it looks like we're getting it.
So this is what we're talking about, right? So this entire, how long is this? February 2021, before the breakout. So I don't know where the split is on here, but the breakout at 9 after that prior high, and this entire section inside of that from February 2021 to August 2021, that consolidation like point is 675, 680. Is that what you had? Something like that. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. And right now, we'll see. Right now we're toying with it. Right now we're below it. We're below it, and it looks
633 would be my downside target from that, like immediate future. I think 600 is also probably going to be a key psych level, but 550 is that level from several months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, this is 550. Tagging right in here, 539. 546.98. Yeah, nice round number. Wouldn't take much, man. Wouldn't take much at all. That would be like a week. And
just like I was saying with SPY, I'm not really concerned about looking at upside calls until it's over 700. Kind of breaking through that, retest it, and get a bounce off of 700. So that's how I'd be looking to play that to the long side if you're still bullish on Tesla short term.
Yeah. And flip side, right? If you do break above this, it's a key 685-ish, 680. It's a pretty key pivot. So if you do start trading above that, you got this 100-day or 200-day moving average that, is really far away. So I'm going to remove that statement. Delete. That's really, I don't know. Tesla can do it, but this was like you're coming into that 200-day right here. Look at this. This is brutal. Coming to that 200-day, tag, bounce, and this is so normal, right? Come back, it's like this magnet, right? Just attracts to it. If it does, sure, you got this big old fail And this right here is where everybody gets faked out every time. But it happens every time, just like that. You get maybe short, 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 and then you get this weird like squeezy pop, and then immediately into a fail. So who knows, right? That's what is this breakdown? 850 right here. Yeah, if you do get an upside, you have these two levels to contest you right here: 700, 750, 800. I think everybody knows these levels. Tesla's a pretty much daily driver at this point. But yeah, this looks like it might reject. I would wait like another hour, personally, till you can get something clean below. Like something clean below 667. Like brand new candle, clean below. Over here, it's still kind of testy, but, or if you want to be real sure, you wait till it's below 632. And we might, let's see, I'm going to take a look at the chain. Tesla. Oh, again. Alright, Spybrook. And resting 21 EMA downside, quick scalp opportunity. Yeah. There's so many scalp opportunities in this market. It's insane. Honestly, like our stats in the group, dude, they're insane. Jesse is like absolutely crushing it. I feel like my stats have never been better, but this dude keeps showing me up every day, which is kind of irritating, but whatever. Like I'm happy for him, dude. It's just a different derivative. Love it. But yeah, I think was my like net, 4,000%, which would be about like realistically like double your portfolio. And yeah, this guy's over here 5,000. Whatever, dude.
8,000. 8,300.
Oh, my bad. 8,000.
Oh, sorry.
Show some respect there.
Whatever.
Put some respect on my name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm just looking at the chain real quick. So wow, we don't have earnings. So I don't. There's not a lot of long dated options being purchased here. You're gonna laugh. Monthly June series, it's pretty much like the heaviest is right on 600, right? Put, and that's 3,700 volume, which is significantly higher than the call side. So definitely more downside pressure, or downside speculation rather, on the put side than the calls. I think if I just look at net metrics, yeah, they're about 400,000 calls versus put, 403,000 calls, 369,000 puts. So longer dated, more downside. Short dated, I think they're probably closing out is what that looks like for that bounce. But yeah, I'm just I wanna, buddy of mine was asking like, dude, can I just put together like what is the big flusher on Tesla, like options wise? What's the absolute best risk reward that you can get? I was trying to tell him it's like butterfly for sure. Typically right now, oh god, Tesla IV percentile is way up there too. Look at that, Tesla, the 96th percentile. I don't even have, there's no earnings, right? What am I missing? There's no, it passed. I know it passed earnings. June, July 20th. Okay. So, interesting. July 20th, we want to avoid anything after July 20th because those options will start to, well, it's a ways out. They're not actually that inflated yet. Well, let's see, June. June is 25 days away.
Calendar might be the way to play that.
Yeah. I mean, what are these? Are those your 200 puts that went out for like 1,100 lot this morning? On this one. Yeah. I see 2,000 puts or 400 puts, 450 puts, 500 puts. Yeah. Either butterfly. Oh yeah, they're mostly centering on the 600. But even that's $3,000 for a 600 put. I mean, to me, that's quite a bit. Yeah, what am I looking at? 640 to 600 put debit spread. Yeah, even still, that's That's quite a bit to me. You're paying over a third of the max value out of the gate. I want to see better ratio personally. But yeah, calendar would be good. I mean, look at that 500 put for July is for June is like trading $1,000. That's crazy. So what's a 500 calendar? Yeah, 1,100. $11 put calendar, 1 month. It's still, I don't know. It might not be my favorite. Just the same.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. This data is negativo. Unless my Thinkorswim is lagging. Because of Elon scandal, yeah. Very, 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 very possible. It's not the Elon Amber Heard scandal, right? Not that one.
No, that's old.
Damn. He's coming soon, right? I'm such a nerd, dude. It's bad. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be short-term bets for sure. Let's go. If I don't want to be buying this. This is very expensive. I mean, even if you go next week, you have a lot of the 600 puts. Wow. And 500s. Yeah. There is a 600, 500, 450 potential skip strike butterfly. That's a 10-to-1 risk reward. That might not be horrible, but it's still pretty expensive. Yeah, and you pay to own that. Wow, something was up with that. Yeah, you're only making like $2,000 off of $1,000. I just think the snipiness is gonna be ideal. It's a day trader's market, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you get the flusher though, sure, maybe 600. It would you'd have to be pretty far out of the money, really. I'm trying, but 500, 450, 400. There you go, butterfly, not skip strike, just straight up butterfly. That's $198 right now. Wowzers. $20. Yeah, you could do that. Here, I'll detach. This is only June. So this is a buying 1 5, selling 2 450, buying 1 400. This is trading for about $200 right now. This has been not the worst way to trade Tesla. Yeah, if I go any further out, it's about 250. So this is the cheapest way to trade it, in my opinion. But this one, it's directional, very much directional. Max profit at 450. Max profit is $5,000 at 450, which I don't even have down here. It'd have to be like 400. 450. But it's the cheapest way to play something like this. 500. 550. Sorry. 600. I'm clearly doing a manual edit here. And 650. So if it costs you just under $200, why doesn't it like, it does not like 550? Oh, there you go. So just under $200, but the more time that this goes by, the better it is for something like this. So how many Is it 2 weeks? If I just move this forward. Wow, yeah, I hate how this lags. Yeah, it could be, it's right in here, like 500 bucks, risking 2 to make 7, but your max profit would be on this blue line on 618 if it lands at 450. That's a huge, I mean, if you're going to make the bet, spend as absolute little as possible. 47.80 is what it says. Okay. But anyways, that's pretty dirt cheap. I don't have a trigger yet. Something like that, you could wait to be more sure. I have no problem with that. Amazon was weak as hell. I wanted to look at that too. These guys got splits coming up, Amazon and Google, but Google looked a little bit better this morning. Actually, Microsoft looked good this morning too. How's that doing? Microsoft cleared yesterday's high, by Friday's high. So that might be a little different story. I was looking at, and then Apple, I think, was the same. Just barely. So at this point, if these two can kind of come back and bounce right off these highs here, that would be the only kind of saving grace for the market. These two, right there. That would be cool. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Something very similar here, right? 258. But if it fails these levels, yeah, I would expect this. Ding short. There you go. Off to the races. So trades coming up very soon. Not quite there. Want to see, and then you're just trading back to this 245, by the way. If you do that. That's your target. That's a good target. It's $10 for an option perspective. Walmart. Oh, Walmart. So actually, I am because I'm not buying it, right? And I don't want to. What I don't want to do. This is a very typical structure here. So it was a very inexpensive way to place this trade because I knew I was pushing it. You know, honestly, I saw some 250 or 125 on Walmart. So 125, 130 debit or spreads, not debit, spreads this morning. And I was looking at that, I was like, oh, those are probably pretty juicy to sell. But they're like 60, 68 bucks. There's a lot of volume on this week's 125 call. Could it hit that? Yeah, it probably could right here. But honestly, if Walmart comes back up here, it's just one of those levels that you're gotta like, you know, do I add? That's what's gonna happen. Because if it hits this and it gets rejected, I mean, these downside targets are real. Like that, I mean, it's lost its safety for sure. But again, it's moved quite a bit, right? So maybe, so that position being a butterfly, being like dirt cheap cost, probably fine just to like let it chill out, maybe do some upside calls and flip that to a condor, turn it into an income generating strategy. Because yeah, this is a big old move. Give the market a little bit to digest before it really goes back. But this is our major resistance, 126. It was very similar target. I mean, it just looked weak. So, I mean, all this retail. We'll see how Costco does. I think that's what's going to happen. I think we are cool for now. But did you want to take a? I was looking at PayPal. Do you want to take a look at anything, Steven? Any tickers on your radar?
No, that was all I had.
PayPal, yeah, I got the 70 level on PayPal that we tagged, and it is a serious level. So if PayPal drops below that, she gone. That's all I can tell you. She gone. So that was one I was still watching. Banks this morning we're having a really good day. This is the interest rate stuff. So not quite ready to press it. Financials across the board. Look at this. SIVB, my favorite one. And some commodities. So I was looking, let's get you out here. I was looking gold long, maybe with some nugget, believe it or not. So gold coming back to retrace. I want to watch this 200-day because it could be that flusher point, right? So I want to be aware that just like we saw in Tesla, very similar. It could be a big old flusher straight through. So I don't want to jump into that just yet. But if it does fly, you'll know, and it'd be like this guy, just for a short-term swing. And then I was looking, Nucor, similar, right? Kind of bouncing here. I like this. I sold this stock. I'm looking maybe to get back into this. This is just this interest rate theme or like inflation theme. Slob, OIH, that whole sector still doing the deal, right? So remember our subsectors. I'm going a little over, so I'll close out with this. But just follow the money, right? Look at your subsectors, have an idea who's got the strength. Trade with that trend, right? Make sure that whatever sector, if your sector is about to flash green or flash red, and you have your one stock inside that you can pick to take a directional bet, well, that's going to be a really good play for sure. So semis look like chop this week. Financials, if financials break out, as an example, they have some upside, no question. So yeah, XLF needs to get over 35 and hold, and then you could take that like Bank of America, Citibank probably for an upside call. That would have some serious velocity behind it. But all right, that's it for me for now. Cool.
Sounds good.
Very cool. All right, guys. I'll check you next week. And then Thursday, if you're in the servers, just make sure you register beforehand for the Trading Foundation Series 1. Cool. Adios.